Hi everyone, welcome to this week's edition of the CertiK Security Leaderboard Showcase. I'm your host, Aaron Leibowitz. As you all know well by now, in this showcase, we host a guest for a live AMA where we discuss their work with CertiK, the Security Leaderboard, and we throw in some live questions from you, the viewers. Our goal is to help raise the standards of security in the DeFi ecosystem. The Security Leaderboard, found at CertiK.org, is a free tool to help you DYOR. Today, I'll be joined by the team behind CEEK. They're contributing $300 worth of CEEK for today's top live questions that are chosen and answered on air. Please make sure to read the rules for the rewards on the Twitter post at CertiK.org in order to make sure that you qualify with your questions. So thank you to the CEEK team for providing that. And remember to like and subscribe before we jump in here. Now let's go ahead and take a look at CEEK's leaderboard listing. Here you see what happens when you land at CertiK.org. Scrolling down, you'll see plenty of projects. There are many, many pages of projects here. Now let's navigate over to CEEK's page. You can see they have an audit, Skynet, and it is Shield active. Scrolling down, you can click into the audit PDF itself, see all of the different variables on the Skynet analysis, as well as the different tabs. These have a wealth of data for you guys. Anyone who's looking to DYOR, check it out there. Now let's bring on our guests and welcome Mary from CEEK.
Hi. Hello and welcome. Thank you.
Perfect. We also have Jared, who should be joining us in just a second. There we are. Hey, Jared, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Well, guys, welcome. Thrilled to have you on here. Why don't we start with you giving a background on yourselves, your role within CEEK, and what CEEK actually is.
Sure. I can go first. That's fine. I'm Mary Spear. I'm the founder of CEEK, and we are a streaming platform for virtual events and experiences, and we track the viewership on the blockchain. We also provide artists payment, digital content creator payments through smart contracts. And we currently feature some of the biggest names in music and sports, including the likes of, we've had content from the likes of Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, and the list goes on.
Well, those are some impressive names for sure. And Jared, how about you?
My name is Jared. I work with CEEK as an advisor, primarily helping with their marketing, their community growth, and so forth. I work at Win Solutions, a marketing and growth agency focused on different growth hacking techniques to help blockchain projects essentially grow and accelerate. And CEEK has been near and dear to my heart for some time. So I really enjoy working with the project and think that it's probably one of the most visionary projects that I've worked with in the past. So excited to be here and add to any answers to any questions that may be asked.
Awesome, thrilled to have you guys.
Thank you.
I lost you too. Let's get you back. There we are. That's what we were looking for. So CEEK not only has a slew of software components on their chain, such as the NFT marketplace and a VR city with different venues, sports arenas, and concert venues, if I'm not mistaken. But you've also released your own VR headset. Can you sort of talk us through the CEEK ecosystem and all of the components there?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of the CEEK VR headset, we have our own VR headset because when we started out, there were no mobile solutions for VR. And we knew particularly having a platform that was, core based on music distribution, that it was super important to have a mobile VR headset. The other aspect about the headset is that it addressed a lot of the issues that exist actually even in the market today. One of them being the depth perception that was not being addressed by other headsets. So there are a lot of very unique things that we're doing with the headset. And the 360 headphones allow for you to hear directional audio, and nothing existed before that was actually providing directional audio in a headphone. So we contributed those uniquely to solve and address the market need.
Got it. So without getting too technical, my understanding of headphone technology, you guys using 3 audio drivers per ear to create that directionality?
This is actually using more than that to create that, dynamic effect. And so because when you look at traditional headphones today, a lot of them are providing like almost a sound effect. But in order to create the directional audio, you need a little bit more than that. You actually need 3D audio. And then we're combining that with the haptic feedback as well, so that we create not just the direction, but also depth.
Got it. And if you don't mind my asking, what do the headphones and the VR headset go for? And where can I find it?
The headphones are $249.99, so $250 in essence, and then the headset is $100. So it's also at a lower price point, which makes for adoption by a wider audience.
Absolutely, that's the lowest price point I've heard for any VR headset.
Mm-hmm.
As a gamer myself, that's something I've definitely looked into before.
Yeah, and it's not bad.
Awesome, I'll have to check that out. So you guys have some huge name partnerships. I mean, you named some of the artists you worked with. UMG is, biggest 2 record label out there. And is that an exclusive contract that you guys have with them, or will you look at onboarding Sony and Warner in the future?
Yeah, so I can jump in on that. Actually, we're not exclusive. We're actually working with artists across all labels, not exclusive to just those. We're already working with Sony and Warner, but we have a special partnership with Universal that actually allows us to create exclusive content for the artists. So hence why you see a little bit more in that area. But CEEK is definitely not like agnostic to one vertical when it comes to that. We're definitely trying to open this up, as I think the premise of CEEK is more so to provide access at large. And that was kind of, Mary can jump in on kind of the inspiration of CEEK and what was behind it. But ultimately, the goal of CEEK was to provide access to artists at a much larger scale and not be limited by venues or partners or labels or anything for that matter. So, for any artist who's interested in gaining that exposure, I think that's really where CEEK kind of jumps in. Mary, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We're definitely not limited to one label or the other. We're working actually globally with a lot of international artists that are not on labels, so truly decentralizing, music distribution, and then also even working with, publishers and then artists that have, content that they're distribution on the platform from all different labels. So we're not limited to one label for sure.
Fantastic. That's really cool. And that sort of brings me to and slightly answers my next question, which is, do you guys see any conflict between the mission of DeFi and onboarding these large record labels who have a reputation for centralized control over access, revenue, distribution, career make or breaking for artists?
I don't see a conflict as such, in the sense that when you look at some of the biggest artists that are out there, most of them are signed to label. But you also have huge international acts that are not signed to labels. And the future of music distribution is, decentralized. So in the future, now artists have the tools such as CEEK to be able to go directly to their fans, take out the middleman, and be able to transact the way they want to transact, whether it's NFTs or, selling virtual tickets. So really, this is where we are today, where a huge, part of the revenue comes from major labels and major artists, but where we're going and the future of music is not necessarily with, centralized organizations. And so labels are going to have very, very unique roles. And I think most of them are going to become publishers, even buying, ownership in artist NFTs, right? So once the artists can go out there, build their own fan base, decide the rules and the terms on which they want their content distributed, you're still going to see, labels now assume the roles of, owners. NFTs are going to play, a massive role in the future. And I think that's where you're going to see labels evolve to.
Got it. That's very cool to think about the future of the music industry coinciding with blockchain, especially the decentralization of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. So what does the future of CEEK look like? What's on the roadmap? Any exciting news you guys want to share with us today?
Can I steal that one, Mary?
Sure.
These are my favorite things to talk about, at least the things that we're allowed to. The thing with working in music and media is that you're oftentimes under confidentiality agreements and embargoes. So as much as I'd like to share, I can't share too much in that regard. But on the side of crypto, there's some exciting things happening. One is we obviously just recently underwent an audit with CertiK and stuff. That was kind of like a milestone in the progress of what we're pursuing in front of that. We just recently deployed on the Binance Smart Chain to improve our accessibility. And as well, we have a very exciting announcement in which we're going to be listing on PancakeSwap in the next coming weeks here. So we are looking to definitely expand our reach, as well as really improve upon who can participate in the CEEK ecosystem. And we think that PancakeSwap is a really great step for that.
Awesome. That's definitely a huge news and a big milestone for you guys. So congratulations on that one.
Yeah, you heard it here.
Heard it here first. Exclusives for the Leaderboard showcase. It's a nice piece of art you got there.
Yeah, I've got my Ether poster.
Got to. Excellent. I have a Bitcoin poster behind me somewhere off
in the other office where my colleagues are. There's Bitcoin, Doge, and Ripple, and all sorts of other ones. The Ripple one has fallen down quite a bit, but the other ones are still
about right.
I still have the CEEK one behind me too.
Yeah, she has the neon one. That kind of trumps all of mine. So
yeah, fair enough. Are you guys in the office?
I'm in the office now.
Yeah, I'm actually California based, whereas Mary's London at this moment.
Got it. Very cool. So aside from UMG, I noticed that T-Mobile and Apple are partners listed on your website. Can you dive into what those partnerships entail?
Sure. So in terms of T-Mobile, we are partnered with them for a net zero rating. So for a mobile carrier, for us, what that means is when their users actually download and use the CEEK app, they don't have to pay additional data on top of the data that they're using, which is great because VR is very intensive, streaming is extremely intensive. So to have a partner such as T-Mobile where their users can, use the CEEK app without having to pay additional data really helps in, promoting the use of our app and with more people, using the app. In terms of Apple, we've worked with them over the past about 2.5 years. It's primarily a promotional partnership where they provide the Apple card or Apple gift code to our users so they can get like a free, credit to use on the platform.
Very cool. That T-Mobile partnership sounds ideal for you guys. I mean, a big discussion over the past couple of years has been the ability for the Web3 revolution to happen due to greater bandwidth accessibility for consumers across the globe, and how even just 10 years ago, streaming, Twitch had its 10th anniversary recently. If anyone was around for the start of Twitch, it was a pretty miserable time with super low quality and low bit rate streams. The increase in bandwidth is great, but those ISPs limiting that can be a big issue. Unlocking that for your app specifically is really awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. We were actually even a part of, in terms of their net neutrality, there were some, proposals and stuff like that they had out there to help make bandwidth more accessible. And we're very proud to be a part of, that movement with them.
That's great. And that's definitely a goal that I can get behind. So turning towards your work with CertiK, can you speak to how the auditing process went, why you chose CertiK, and dive into your choice to employ Skynet and the Shield solution as well?
Mary, you want to go ahead for that?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, with CertiK, we were highly recommended, came very highly recommended, and it's an industry standard. And so the process was great because there were a few things that were pointed out that we were able to update, and then also the Shield. It's about protection for our users, and we feel it's super important for them to be able to participate in having that protection. And so the process has been great, and we're very excited, to be working with CertiK.
Awesome. Thrilled to hear it, guys. And for anyone in the chat, 2 reminders. One is that CertiK Shield is something where you can purchase reimbursement protection for your assets in the event of a smart contract failure. The second is make sure you get your questions in following the rules on the CertiK.org Twitter post in order to claim your rewards. Did I get your questions answered by the team while we have them here? So continuing on. All right, a live question we have here. What is the purpose of CEEK and what makes it different from other projects? Do you guys have competitors in the space? Is there...
Yeah, I mean, when you look at from the VR music perspective, you have companies that are out there that are, doing similar things. But what makes us different is the fact that most of the companies that are out there, streaming music are production houses that are creating content and then streaming it on other platforms. We have a native music distribution platform. We actually just got listed as a digital streaming platform alongside like Spotify's of the world, and we are blockchain based. I mean, my background, which I didn't mention at the beginning, I started as a space engineer, building satellites, launching satellites, building television networks, creating a streaming technology that was acquired by the Boeing company, used by Lucasfilms, using satellite streaming. And then I kind of evolved to online streaming. And then now we're highly focused on mobile streaming. So there's a lot of experience in terms of streaming the VR content, streaming, live stream, making content accessible, and then also the tracking of that content, on the blockchain, which I would say we're probably solving the biggest issue or the biggest challenge today facing the streaming, ecosystem, which is trust. Because most artists don't know how they're paid, and most artists, especially international artists, don't get paid. You see a lot of artists that are streaming 1 billion streams and they're getting paid close to zero. And so by now providing that transparency for them to see how their streams are happening, and then also having smart contracts for them to be paid once those streams happen. And then most importantly, we're able to pay them with CEEK. We're able to pay with cryptocurrency. So we don't have to worry about they don't have to be susceptible to all those changes in currencies and not being able to, collect their payments and the delays in payments that comes with, being located globally. So those are all things that we're doing that no other competitor is doing.
Got it. So sort of two follow-ups on there. First, is it fair to say that CEEK was founded by a rocket scientist?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Second is, where does the CEEK token come into play in the ecosystem? Obviously, you just mentioned paying artists. What else beyond that?
So paying artists, tracking streams. So them seeing exactly when their streams are played, and not having to rely on a third party to tell them how many times it was played, and then being susceptible to click fraud and stuff like that. So we remove all of that. So there's the transparency, and then also the offering the NFTs. So even before, the NFT craze, we were looking at providing the ability to transfer value from inside of a VR world to outside of the VR world, and one of the things I talk about is, I have a son who plays Roblox, and the amount of money he spends on, inside of these virtual worlds, not being able to transfer that value is not, it's not cool. So we also address that through the NFTs and other, by tokenizing all in-app experiences. You can take your CEEK elsewhere and you can do a whole lot more with it than, just watching concerts.
That's fantastic. And I think what you just touched on, especially in the video game space, that transferability for all in-app purchases. I read a stat that EA alone rakes in billions of dollars a year on in-app purchases in their games. It's crazy that those are siloed off into a single ecosystem, that they're not, as you said, transferable from, Roblox to Minecraft to any other games that he might play.
Exactly.
And it hurts your wallet a little bit more that it isn't.
Right. And they grow out of it so quickly. So then all that, value is stuck in there somewhere in the void.
Yep, that's definitely frustrating. So a few more questions I want to ask here. How do you raise awareness and eliminate the doubt about competition, adoption by your users? What would you want to tell potential artists who want to potentially join the platform who are a little bit hesitant?
So I'll address, how we raise awareness with artists. And then I think Jared is dying to talk about how he's helping us raise awareness, for the token and the company as a whole. But in terms of artists, because we've had some, super, super successful streams. For example, for 2020, we had the biggest stream, according to Billboard, with Ziggy Marley for the 75th anniversary celebration of Bob Marley. We had a stream which had 9.4 million streams within just a 24-hour period. And, we've had, similar successes with so many different artists. So by them seeing the efficiencies that we're bringing to them, because, I say I launched CEEK because early on I realized that there was so much, being left on the table. For example, there was an Adele concert where she sold only 100,000 tickets and 10 million people tried to buy those tickets, So I said we launched CEEK to sell virtual tickets to those 9.9 million people that couldn't attend those, that event. So artists realize that this is a way for them to extend their reach beyond the capacity of, whatever venue that they're looking at. We have 5,000 capacity venues that are selling 150,000 tickets online with us. And this is pre, the pandemic. And with the pandemic, where the global industry had really nowhere to go since they couldn't tour. So that's really all helped in shifting, the perceptions about selling virtual tickets. So that's been very helpful.
Makes sense. Jared, let's not leave you out to dry here. Anything?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to chime in. Mary covered it very well. I think that largely in crypto, I think that the crypto audience is such a very challenging audience to captivate and build trust with, because we've all seen what comes and goes in crypto, and the strong ones survive. CEEK has been around for a while at this point, and I think the one thing that we've worked hard to achieve is the credibility through affiliation and the partners that we choose, the people that we work with, being able to bring on these artists and essentially really develop a reputation through that. Furthermore, building our presence in the crypto space and making sure that we're accessible to users across an array of platforms. This is just kind of the beginning of CEEK. And what you see is we've done a number of different exchange listings. We've now migrated on the Binance Smart Chain. And then furthermore, we're looking to what is beyond that, what's beyond PancakeSwap and things of that. So what I can say is that CEEK has a very active team behind it. And it's not a team that's just sitting idly and waiting for token price to increase or waiting for tickets to sell, for example, but we're looking as to what is the next frontier to maximize the exposure to the widest audience possible. And perhaps, CEEK might be the first experience that somebody has with a crypto transaction. And then from there, how do we encourage them to participate further in the ecosystem of crypto? So it's more than just what's for CEEK, but what's for crypto, and how can we otherwise improve upon what the crypto space has and the people that are in it. So I think that all of that kind of accumulates into the main primary goal is that we want to grow our community, and we want to grow the accessibility to everybody to be a part of it.
That's great. I think those are lofty and achievable goals that are sort of right in line with your guys' mission.
Absolutely.
So a question that I frequently ask on here, if we went into a bear market, what are your guys' plans to survive? How do you see your staying power? Obviously, you've been around for a while, so you've been through a bear market before. What either helped you last time, or did you learn that'll help you next time?
Mary, do you want me to take a stab?
Yeah, sure.
So, I think that that's what we saw in 2017 was we saw a lot of one and dones, people that came out during the height of it and then slowly dissipated into nothing and either took their earnings or their earnings slowly dissipated with time, which wasn't substantiated enough for a company. And it's unfortunate, but I think that the companies that have survived one bear market have a greater propensity to survive a second one, because there's a certain level of conservatism that you have to have working in cryptocurrency. You have to know that, the peak cycle that you're in isn't going to continue forever. So you have to be conservative in the way that you grow and the way that you plan. And I think that the foundation that CEEK has is that CEEK is existent even without that of blockchain. The blockchain fundamentals definitely improve upon it, but it's not a mandatory measure. I mean, we have the headphones, we have the VR headsets. There's different revenue models outside of just what you see with the blockchain and tokenomics aspect. There's more than that otherwise keeps CEEK up and running and in a positive light. Mary, do you have anything else to add to that?
No, I think that's very well said. That's very well said. And, it's also based on the tremendous demand that exists out there, with with the content creators that we're working with the music artists that we're working with the professional sports teams that are creating content for the platform. And so they already have these built-in networks that we're leveraging and we're pressing on. And so, we continue to adapt and we continue to thrive regardless of, the markets that we're in.
Awesome. Well, that's great. And I agree with exactly what Jared said, that people who survived the first time definitely are more likely to survive a second time.
Mm-hmm.
You've been through it before. It's not going to be a new thing. And as he said, it's also inevitable. It's going to happen again. As unfortunate as that is for all of our bags, that's just the case. It's got to be.
Yep.
So moving on from there, a great live question here. What will you do about copyright infringed material on the CEEK platform? How are you going to handle that?
A big part of what we're doing is with the content that is uploaded onto the platform is coming directly from artists. So like any of the DSPs that are out there, we will deal with takedowns should content be infringing on other people's rights. But other than that, because it's a decentralized platform, people are able to, connect directly with their fan base. And, there's also sort of a vetting process as we deal with, bigger artists that are making sure that what they're putting on there is also licensed and licensable. But, there will always be there'll always be that loophole where people are trying to upload content that doesn't belong to them. And when those are brought to our attention, we're taking very stringent measures to make sure that, we can help take those down.
Awesome. So following on that, there is concern that at least I've seen with false copyright strikes on YouTube, on Twitch, that can destroy a content creator's career if their channel gets removed incorrectly. Are you guys, you're talking about being very careful in what you actually choose to remove. Is there a vetting process for making sure that a copyright strike is honest, is true before anything is removed?
Yeah, we have a compliance team that is, very, very active. And then we're also going to open up the ability for, even through our blockchain Congress, for people to be able to be part of that process, vetting the content and voting on the content to ensure that, when content is, stricken or taken down, that it is in fact, infringing.
Awesome. Well, that's great. And just for anyone in the chat who's asking, they did mention before they're going to be listed on PancakeSwap soon, so make sure to check that out. So let's see, what else do we got here? Guys, we have a few minutes left to get your questions in, receive some rewards. Make sure you get these in here for us. What are the advantages and disadvantages of blockchain-based streaming? It's a good question that I haven't thought much about. Is there any throughput or transaction speed issues that lead to latency issues or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Which is a great lead in as to why we are moving to BSC. So when we started out, we were Ethereum based. And so we had to, in order to do a lot of the reporting of the streams, we had to do a lot of batching and whatnot, even do customized, blockchain. So there was a lot there were a lot of challenges with that, which is why we're going to BSC, because one is the gas list, so that allows us to do all these transactions in real time. Because when someone makes a purchase for content, they don't want to have to wait, or pay those exorbitant gas fees. So if I want to consume a 99-cent piece of content, I don't want to have to wait until it's transferred, and then also have to pay, $19 in gas fees. So those have been some of the challenges with blockchain-based, but with, now migrating to BSC, we've solved a lot of those issues.
That makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. And as somebody who has literally just moved to the dates that I was going to travel to coincide with the concert that's there, I can guarantee when there are artists that I am excited about that aren't in my city, I will be looking to the CEEK platform to see if I can get tickets.
Awesome.
Well, Well, guys, that is everything we have for you today. Thank you so much to Mary and Jared for joining us and answering all of these questions.
Thank you for having us both.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
All right, thanks.
Likewise.